Well, guys, we got two brand new trade paperbacks to look at from Marvel Comics, so let's dive in. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and today we've got two brand new trade paperbacks to look at from Marvel Comics. Both of these are out in the direct market as well as the book market as of yesterday, October 15th, in the book market today, the 16th, everywhere. So you can go to your local comic shop, you can go to Barnes and Noble, wherever books are sold. If they sell comics, there's a great chance that they already have these in stock. So we got two books to check out. We're going to look at Predator: The Last Hunt by Ed Brisson. And then we got What If Venom, which is written by Jeremy Holt. Yes. And so actually, let's start out with Predator: The Last Hunt. Honestly, I had a good time with both of these books, but I think this was my favorite this go round. By the way, there are several books that hit the market this week from Marvel. These are just the two that I got, so I'm talking about them. So, Predator: The Last Hunt is written by Ed Brisson with art duties mostly handled by Francesco Manna, and it's really good. Fun fact, I had never had any experience with a Predator book or movie before I read this, and I had no problem jumping right in. But this has a cover price of $15.99. It collects Predator: The Last Hunt issues 1 through 4. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and dive in with this overview now. Like I said, I keep saying this, but I did not have any previous experience with the Predator. So I was super grateful that we got pretty much a recap right here on the first page, showing exactly what's happened so far, all the way back from the first Predator movie in 1987 up through what's happening in these current comics, because I guess these comics are in canon with the movies, or at least follow the same canon from the movies. So this was a 4-issue miniseries. As you can see, Ed Brisson writes the whole series, and then Francesco Manna pencils the entire series, but he's helped out on inks in issue 3 by Jonas Trindade. So really cool stuff. And colors are done by Eric Arciniega, with letters by Clayton Cowles that do letters everything. So as this starts out, basically everything that you need to know before you read this is on this data page. But this book is going to follow Theta Berwick, who we learn from this first page. Basically, her parents are killed by a predator while researching a remote planet that humans could maybe move to, since predators are taking over all these other places. And so she then dedicates her life to hunting down these predators. And as we pick up in the story in 2066, Theta has not seen a predator in over 5 years. And so that's where we pick up. She's been traveling with her friend Paola, who's not her boyfriend, allegedly, but is her boyfriend. They've been searching around for predators. They haven't seen any signs of them for quite some time. But, they're in these different simulations, just preparing themselves for the next time they do see one. They've actually developed some technology, so they've been dressing like predators and going out and dealing with other different types of civilizations, just, again, keeping themselves sharp for battle for whenever they do come across a predator. And they've been hunting for clues, and they finally found them. And what happens is this journey kind of leads them to a remote planet that they learn is basically like the predators having a danger room scenario of their own. Like, they are holding humans in stasis, and they will let them out every once in a while just to keep their hunting skills sharp, which is wild. And so once they stumble on this, then they're like, all right, well, that means there's only a matter of time before a predator shows up. And, well, it's true. There is only a matter of time before a predator shows up. This guy is important to the story. He says who he is. I guess if you've seen the Predator films, then he means more to you. But I'll just say he's related to someone from Predator lore, and I'll kind of leave it at that. But basically, once, we find out that predators do exist, I think by the end of issue 2, a predator shows up And at that point, heads roll. Like, this is just a straight up bloody action fest. Are they going to, here's the predator, but are they going to, make it safely out of this predator's purview? I doubt it. But starting with issue 3, the violence just like really, really ratchets up. And you just clearly see, like Bad Boy, there is no way out. Maybe I shouldn't do bad boy jokes. But yeah, it gets crazy. And I think the only thing I can say is that heads roll, like literal heads will roll. So this, by the way, is not a book for young audiences. It is listed as parental advisory. So I'd say teen plus. Like, I mean, if you've seen a Predator movie, then you pretty much know what you're in for. This is that, but without the jump scares. So, but I mean, I really had fun with it. Like I said, I had never read a Predator book before this. And so this was a really cool, kind of glimpse into that world. I read this on Tuesday morning while I was in a doctor's office waiting room. So it was a cool, like, entertaining bit. I'll skip the last few pages just so as to not spoil it for you. But this was basically like watching a Predator short film. Really cool. I had a good time with it. So there are some few variant covers. That's pretty much it in the way of extras. But had a good time with this. Like I said, this one's probably my favorite of the 2 Marvel releases I got for this week. So Predator: The Last Hunt, Ed Brisson, Francesco Manna, definitely a recommend. Now, let's jump into the next one. The next book I grabbed was this. This is What If Venom. Now, if you're familiar with the What If line at Marvel, it's just taking sort of familiar scenarios and saying, well, what if it was this thing instead? And that's what we got here. So What If Venom asks the question, like, what if Venom bonded with XYZ person instead of Eddie Brock once Spider-Man rejected him? So this was a 5-issue miniseries written by Jeremy Holt. Each issue has a different artist, but you can see there's a venomized Moon Knight right here. And as we get into the book, you'll see. Now, funny enough, the last What If miniseries I did or read was What If Miles Morales, and let's just say that had its ups and and its downs. So I didn't know what to expect going into this one, but I was very pleased with it. So you can see just from the sort of table of contents page or this info page, what if Venom bonded to She-Hulk, Wolverine, Doctor Strange, Loki, or Moon Knight? Those are all explored here. And what I like is that there is an overall narrative that we get. It's not just like one-off issues, but each of these tell an overall story that all comes together in the end. So again, this basically asks the question like, well, what if instead of Eddie Brock getting Venom, other people in the Marvel Universe got him? So you can see at this very beginning, we're kind of recreating the scene where the symbiote finds Eddie Brock, and you see that Jennifer Walters, or She-Hulk, is there in that moment and basically tries to stop him from committing suicide. And in that moment, Venom is like, oh, we like him for his hatred, but you are strong. Like, there's something else in you. And so there we go. Venom takes over She-Hulk. And, they flash back to years later, and, She-Hulk has been Venom for a while, having this thing where she like can't sleep at night. She doesn't know what Venom's doing, but she basically gets control after a little while, and then starts to reject the symbiote. And we get a little appearance from Jake Lockley, who's like, hey, I can help you with this. I know what it's like to have voices in my head that I can't control. And so that's what we get. And then we get a nice little vignette teaser of what's to come with Wolverine. And so in issue 2, Venom bonds to Wolverine. I think the real draw for this book is the art. Like, each issue has a different artist, but the art is not It's not jarring. The differences from one issue to the next aren't jarring. But Venom takes over Wolverine, and then of course Wolverine has to reject Venom after a while. In another issue, Venom takes over Doctor Strange, and this issue was really fun. I don't read a lot of Doctor Strange, so it was cool to see this the take on him, as well as the villain in his issue. So that was cool. And then what was also really cool was that Venom kind of, whoops, didn't mean to hit the mic, but Venom kind of takes over Doctor Strange's cloak and not so much Doctor Strange, at least until a point. So that was interesting. And then the issue that gets crazy is what if Venom had bonded with Loki? And the Loki issue was as confusing as it was, like, I don't know, Loki being the god of stories, they really play with that. And I thought that was really cool how they did that. Like, I was confused as a reader, just as Doctor Strange is confused, like everybody's confused. And then the last issue is what if Venom had bonded to Moon Knight? And we get to see that play out as well as like, I won't say how, but all of these Venomized characters that we've seen earlier in the story do make an appearance in the final issue to basically try to rid the Marvel Universe of Venom forever. And I thought that was really cool. So skipping the last issue mostly, let's just take a look at the rest of this cover gallery. This one I had a lot of fun with too. I think my mileage on this one was a little bit different just because I don't really read Doctor Strange and symbiotes aren't necessarily my thing. So I think that's why Predator just got the slight edge, but these were both really enjoyable. I love that on both of these, I did not need any prior knowledge of anything going on. Like, this one gives you all the information you need, and this is a what if book, so this gives you all the information you need as well. All very well done. So huge shout out to the creative teams on this, and shout out to Marvel Comics for sending these my way so I could talk about them with you. I'll see you guys in another review real soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.